Many people who believe in the unexplained may be familiar with the concept of the hollow earth. This theory states that whilst we live on the planet here, there's a whole world underneath us. Interestingly, these ideas came about from ancient legends and tales. There's said to be whole civilizations living beneath our planet, and that along with people, there are various species of wildlife. This includes animals like birds, lions, and elephants, and prehistoric animals such as mammoths. It's been reported in many of the stories that the people living beneath us are much more advanced, and that the strange objects we sometimes see in the sky are not from extraterrestrials, but rather from this ancient civilization that prefers to stay hidden. The theory of the hollow earth isn't anything new. In fact, these ideas have been around for many years. It's reported that back in the 17th century, some of the best scientific minds suggested that our planet may be hollow. One of the reasons they came to this conclusion was by a carry-out of a variety of tests. Various scientific minds suggested that the planet can be compared to that of a shell, and that in certain places the planet is very hollow. Over the years, researchers have been able to discover underground tunnels. These would have been built by ancient civilizations to live in. Scientists and researchers have come forward and said they're not sure why our ancestors built these, further saying that some of them go on for many miles. One of the most interesting accounts in regards to the hollow earth is that of Admiral Richard E. Byrd's story. Going back to 1947, Richard Byrd of the United States Navy would fly directly to the North Pole in a daring mission. Interestingly, it was during this trip that he said he entered the Earth, something that at the time confused many people. The inner Earth would suggest that there was an opening he was able to fly into, and that it must have been big enough for his plane to fit into. He not only said this, but also told of the incredible things he witnessed. He said that once inside the Earth, he was able to see some incredible sightings, some of which include mountain ranges, wildlife, waterfalls, and vegetation. The animals he witnessed, though, were different to our modern day animals, saying that they looked much larger in size and looked prehistoric. It's said that he was able to see a creature that closely resembled that of a mammoth, and that it was hiding in the vegetation. Whilst flying above this new world, he was able to find somewhere to land, after which he said that he was greeted by flying machines. Once these crafts arrived, they then signalled him to follow them to another location. He described these machines as being much more advanced than his plane, and that piloting them were beings much more advanced than any human. Once they reached the location, the being said that this land is called Agartha. After the long flight, the crew needed rest, and the beings were very happy to let them do this. Once rested up, the team were taken to the inner world's ruler. However, they were told that this wasn't a chance meeting, and that they had been tracked the entire time. They allowed them to enter because they wanted to talk to the men about the United States atomic projects, saying that they needed to be stopped as no good is going to come from them. They further said that they had been monitoring the nation and decided that now would be the best time to make contact. This was in hopes of making peace and moving forward to try and create a new and better world, one where such atomic weapons were not needed. The crew was honoured that the beings trusted them. After this short encounter, Admiral Byrd and his crew were then taken back to the outside world. After this mind-blowing encounter, their lives would never be the same again. Back in January 1956, Admiral Byrd once again travelled back to this region. This new crew was able to locate an entrance and were able to fly inside. It's reported they were able to get a few thousand miles inside the inner Earth, where once again they encountered the crafts and the beings. As soon as the Admiral arrived back, the American press caught wind of the mission. However, nothing was released, and all information and evidence was eventually lost. The encounter wasn't told by anyone, and those who did mention it were silenced. Unfortunately, although the story is incredible, there's no way to back up the claims of what the men saw. It's an incredible story, and one that will likely be told for the foreseeable future. Another region that's shrouded in mystery is that of Antarctica. Despite being described as one of the most inhospitable locations in the world, the continent of Antarctica is home to more than 4,000 research staff from around the world. These research staff live primarily in research bases, and so the only lasting population of the continent is that of the government-funded research bases. Information gathered from the 2019 Antarctica population census was found that the largest number of research teams come from the United States, 1,293 personnel staff, Argentina with 667 staff, and Russia with 429 staff stations at the peak of summer. This is a very surprising number given the fact that the continent is covered in a 1-mile thick icy coating. This covers more than 98% of the entire landmass of the continent. What many people might not be aware of is the fact that the driest place on Earth happens to rest in a valley in Antarctica. These are referred to by research scientists as the dry valleys. These areas are so dry that the humidity of the area is next to non-existent, and the moisture at that level of the continent is lower than most deserts from around the world. This leaves the dry valleys with the inability to form ice, and so is seen as nothing but a vast expanse of dusty land and dirt that's impossible to maintain. This leaves the area in a nearly constant sandstorm, as the wind in the region aren't seen anywhere else in the world. This wind is caused when extremely cold temperatures move down a slope and into the valley, forcing the speed of the wind to build up and reach some of the highest wind speeds ever recorded in the world, maintaining an average speed of 200 miles per hour the entire year. Antarctica is the only place in the world that anyone can visit without the need to supply a travel visa or passport of any kind, making it the only international neutral zone in the entire world. This is due to the fact that the first real attempts at construction on the continent was made by research scientists, of whom were privately funded or had some sort of means to make their way to the icy continent. These research scientists came from all around the world and were only interested in one thing: science and discovery. Due to this passion, the original research development teams came together and formed the Antarctic Treaty, a required pact that made it impossible for anyone to make claims of territory and enforces open knowledge for everyone. It's due to this treaty that governments from around the world refused to even participate into any developments into the icy continent, in fear that their equipment, technology, and infrastructure would just be stolen, reverse engineered, or completely destroyed by other governments upholding the treaty. One interesting discovery that's been made in the region is that of fossils of ancient trees. After this discovery, researchers were obsessed with uncovering proof of larger life throughout the area. Back in 2010, researchers used techniques in explosives and large-scale blasting to blow out layers of surface rock against that Antarctic mountain. This was to uncover possible fossil layers buried deep within the glaciers throughout the area. After several months of searching and mining for fossils, the research team uncovered exactly what they were hoping to find. It appeared that fossils of ancient dinosaurs inhabiting the region millions of years in the past, roughly around the same time as the Permian extinction, were uncovered after going past various layers in the region. Interestingly, bones of another strange creature have been uncovered that is believed to be that of a species of dinosaurs never found before. According to their reports, the paleontologists accompanying the research team discovered a densely packed grouping of fossils. These belong to different types of dinosaurs referred to as sauropods. Sauropod skulls are usually very rare to find in any other areas, as they're very delicate during the life of the creature. Luckily for the team, among the densely packed fossils were that of ribs, arms, and legs, and a completely intact skull. Many of these bones have already been rendered in complete 3D imaging technologies, and this will help to preserve their finds for all time. So what do you make of the story of the inner Earth, and do you think it's true? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.